All right, we got it. Okay. Welcome everybody to tonight's call about athletes and oxidative stress. This is an incredible topic. It's something that a lot of us need to talk about either for ourselves as an athlete or for perhaps fueling our children. My name is Kim Williams. I have been an athlete all of my life. I've been in coaching. I presently am a competitive water skier and currently holding at 14th in the United States in the Western Division, which is pretty awesome, hoping to rise even more this month. And I'm gonna see if I can turn off these chimes. Oh, it's not allowing me to. It's okay. So let's get this started. We've got 4 incredible athletes, personal trainers, coaches tonight to share with you guys what oxidative stress is, how an athlete needs to really take that into consideration for peak performance, how they can take nutrition, their nutritional level to a higher performing level. And for a lot of us who are competitive athletes, that is critical. So to start us off first is Jake Kelly. And this girl, I just absolutely admire that this girl has been in health and nutrition pretty much as long as I have. Probably longer, since you were just a kiddo. So Jake, come on in, share your story with us and the profound effects that your nutrition level has taken you to.
Awesome, thank you. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Some of you guys are cutting out a little bit in their picture, so I don't know if it was me or other people, but yeah, my name is Jake Kelly, and yeah, thanks so much for that introduction. It's so cool to be on this call with you guys talking about athletes and nutrition because it's such an important topic. So I grew up with a super health conscious mom, and she had us juicing from the my ripe old age of 7 years old. We were juicing beet, carrot, and bell pepper juice every morning, and so nutrition was really a huge factor for her and a huge focus for her. And so when she found Juice Plus, that just made total sense to her. And I grew up playing a ton of sports. I was a 4-sport athlete in high school, and I was a 2-sport athlete in college at the Division I level. And, you know, I didn't get like what all that nutritional background had done for my career. I didn't get that was not normal. I didn't get the like eating tons of fruits and vegetables and using Juice Plus wasn't what every other athlete did. And it wasn't until my freshman year of college that I really got what getting that many plants into my diet really had done for me. When I watched all of my teammates become sick or injured at some point during the season, missing games, missing practices, and I wasn't experiencing any of that. And again, I didn't get how big of a deal that was until I was at that high level, and no one was being able to stay on the court because of injury and illness. And so that was really eye-opening for me. And what I got was that Juice Plus and eating really well was protecting me from the damages of oxidative stress from exercise at that level. And mom always said, which I love, I quote her all the time with this, she said, you know, if you were going to drive a Ferrari, you wouldn't put poor quality gas into that Ferrari. There we go.
Oh, sorry, Jake. Nope, unmute.
There we go.
There you go, girl. Sorry.
I saw that mute flash. I was like, oh, they're not going to hear me. So she always said, you know, if you're going to drive a Ferrari, you wouldn't put poor quality gas into a Ferrari. So why would you put poor fuel into your body when you're asking it to do such a high level of activity? And that like just rang in my ears for my whole life, and continues to play a role for me as a maturing athlete. And you know, that's so true. Like we're putting our bodies through so much that they need optimal fuel. So that's sort of my story. And I, you know, talk this conversation about oxidative stress and athletes, especially young athletes or athletes of any age, is so important. So I'm so glad that I had the protection of Juice Plus along with a crazy health nut of a mom.
That is amazing. And to carry on 2 Division I sports simultaneously, all of that exercising that you were doing, I remember you even saying at one point, you and your girls would go back to the gym sometimes after practices all day long and work out even more, which is increasing your oxidative stress even more. So that's really good that you knew from the get-go how important the nutrition was. Thanks for sharing, Jake. All right, so we're going to move on to Dan. And Dan is a former athlete himself. He'll tell you about that and his days of coaching. Dan, take it away and what you know about nutrition and fueling your body for peak performance. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. There you go, buddy.
Right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Again? Awesome. I am so excited to be on this call, and I feel so privileged. First of all, I want to say, how envious I am of Jake, at such a young age, being able to get this kind of fruit vegetable blend in your body at such a young age. And for her, she didn't even know what it did to her as an athlete. I'm a two-sport athlete myself. In high school, college, got the lucky opportunity to go back to my alma mater at Stoneman Douglas High School and coach for 15 years as a football and lacrosse coach. And if I would have known back then what I know today about nutrition in just the minimal amount that I do with Juice Plus, I can't imagine what my career would have been like, because Jake talks about not missing a practice and being, just what Juice Plus did to her. As for me, I had to fight through that to be on the field all the time because oxidative stress constantly breaks our body down, and that's what injuries are. It's when you get a little tweak or something like that and your body's fighting on it. What Juice Plus can do for you and turn around and build into your body is combating that. And when I moved into coaching, I would talk to the kids about nutrition because I got into Juice Plus when I was 25. So I was really lucky. I was still young. But when I was playing, I would eat whatever I wanted to. It didn't matter. I was on the field for 4 or 5 hours a day. So it never really bothered me. Weight wasn't an issue. Nutrition wasn't an issue at that time because your body's so young. And when I hit 25, what I really realized in that nutritional aspect is now that I'm 40, I still recover from a workout like when I was 25 years old, and I can't believe it. Every time I hit the gym and I see all my friends talk about it and things that they say that they're dealing with all the time, it's amazing the power of Juice Plus, and that's why I constantly am sharing it with people because of their recovery with working out and the everyday life. And getting it into our youth today is so essential. I was introduced to the Juice Plus through a student that introduced me to here's my wife today. So it was amazing, and it's such a powerful thing.
Dan, that was really great. I love what you say about being 40. I'm that age right now too, and I'm, competing against athletes in their 20s and stuff, and it is amazing to see profoundly the difference between a cheeseburger, fries, fueled athlete because they think they can eat that and their coaches don't know any better to teach them otherwise, versus a plant-based, totally fueled by, like what Jake said, the supreme fuel for the Ferrari and what the performance level comes out at. So thanks, buddy, for sharing that. Okay, next up we've got Nikki Hamra, who was a competitive gymnast most of her life and now an amazing Zumba instructor and has kids that are in athletic sports. And she's going to share with you a little bit about her experience and how Juice Plus was brought into her life and how she is utilizing it to share with other athletes.
Well, hi guys. Thanks, Kim, so much for having me on. I'm also in the 40 Club, so really been an athlete my whole life as well. But unlike Jake, who knew early on how to fuel her body, or she didn't know she was not feeling the effects of oxidative stress, and kind of like me, like I didn't know that I was feeling it. So I started competitive gymnastics at about age 9. And did it all the way through my first year of college, and definitely not fueling my body for that kind of extreme sport. By the time I was in high school, I was working out about 20 hours a week. And in the early 90s, the whole diet craze was high carb, low fat. And so, athletes sort of carb load, right? So I ate a lot of pasta, a lot of bagels with cream cheese, a lot of granola bars. You guys remember when Snackwells came out, you could eat the whole box because there was no fat in it, right? So a lot of sugar, a lot of gluten, a lot of dairy, and my recovery was really like a handful of Advil, because the soreness that I was getting from my practices just kind of rolled right on top of each other. And in high school, I was actually starting to feel the effects of that oxidative stress. I started to get the beginning signs of an autoimmune disease called Raynaud's. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically in colder temperatures, your extremities, fingers, toes just kind of start to turn numb and white, and they get really cold, and it can be kind of painful. And so, when I stopped gymnastics and that part of my life was over, I noticed that the Raynaud's went away. So there was a direct relation between, really intense exercise and what I was eating and how I was feeling with my body. And so I started teaching Zumba fitness about 8 years ago, and all the symptoms started coming back again. So I started to notice, back to extreme exercise, teaching 8, 9, 10 classes a week. I was noticing my fingers were kind of freezing up. Sometimes I couldn't even go to the grocery store, without wearing gloves. And so a friend of mine that I had met through the Zumba community was like, hey, have you heard of Juice Plus? And I was like, yes. I said, I know what that is, and I know that I need it. I knew that Shannon Miller was using it during her training. It was actually at a meet that I was at, and it was probably right when the capsules first came out. And so I just knew that my body needed something extra. I was a young adult. I had a really weakened immune system, a lot of headaches, back, neck pain, acid reflux, and just really feeling depleted. And so I started taking Juice Plus, and immediately just started feeling all the positive effects. My headaches were going away. I was having more energy. I was sleeping through the night. I was one of those people that kind of woke up every hour on the hour looking at the clock. My skin was just having this glow that I had never really experienced before. I got off of the acid blockers I took for 10 years. My doctors told me I was going to need that pill for the rest of my life. And so it was just an amazing turnaround for health, for sure. And, as a mom, that's really, really important to me because, I do have 2 girls that are competitive swimmers. And, how do I explain oxidative stress to them, right? And so the way that I tell them, is our bodies are kind of like a furnace or a fireplace. The more that we're exercising, we're heating up, we're causing smoke and ash and sparks. And really the only way to neutralize that is with fruits and vegetables. And so Juice Plus has really been the easiest way for us to do that. And even if they don't, really understand it all, they know that they have to drink a shake, after every single one of their practices. So it's just such a peace of mind knowing that they're getting the proper nutrition, not only to stay healthy, but also to play their sports and to play them hard and not to have to repair their bodies later in life like I did. So it's definitely, our family's, recovery, and we're going to continue to take it for the rest of our lives and recommend it to other athletic families as well. So thanks so much for having me.
That's awesome. I love your analogy too, between, the car analogy and Nikki, your analogy. One that comes to mind that one of my team members shared with me today was an apple. You cut into an apple and immediately it's beautiful and it looks great, but as oxidative stress in the air, gets to it, it starts to turn brown. And, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have millions and millions of cells in our body, and every cell takes 10,000 plus hits a day on oxidative stress. So the average American is supposed to be eating 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. That's a lot. That's really cramming your plates 90% full of fruits and vegetables. And if you're a competitive athlete or somebody who works out a lot and is increasing that oxidative stress, you need to be more in the 10 to 20 servings a day range. And of course, if you're dealing with a chronic illness like cancer or diabetes or a heart disease, you're going to want to even triple that even more to muster up that medicine inside your body to combat what's going on. So, more is better. You can't overdose. It's why our beautiful capsules don't have any safety caps on them or anything like vitamins do. It is actually whole food that cannot be overdosed on. So to wrap this up, we're going to have Rocco, Dr. Rocco, come in here. Let me find you, buddy, so I can unmute you. There you are. So many people on this call. Oh my gosh, we're up to almost 100 people. Okay, Rocco is a doctor of physical therapy, you guys. He's got 25 years experience in not only training the elite athlete and giving nutritional advice to them, but he's just the master of nutrition and the body. So Rocco, take it away and close us up.
Dude, you're giving me way too much credit, by the way.
I've seen your muscles.
Dude, muscles have nothing to do with it, okay? I'm more than just sexy body.
I love it.
I want to thank everybody for taking the time out to be on this call, first of all, and everyone for inviting me on, the amazing speakers that we have so far, and especially for sticking around just to hear me speak. But I'm going to discuss a topic, and I could go off on this all day because I get super excited about this, but it's a topic that no one touched on yet, okay? It's called oxidative stress. Okay, my goal tonight basically is to share how I can explain oxidative stress to patients and clients, and then how I recommend the Juice Plus products to them. So as you heard, I'm a physical therapist. I also a personal trainer of 25 years. I've had the opportunity to improve the performance of athletes ranging from professional, semi-pro, collegiate, high school athletes, and I really excel also in bodybuilding, powerlifting, bikini, and figure competitions. I've had some experience also in the world of research and supplementation, including like ergogenic aids and performance enhancing supplements. We did that at the Rutgers Human Performance Lab in New Brunswick, New Jersey. So I've seen a lot of things come across my desk, and nothing really impressed me like Juice Plus does, because as we've heard before, it's so safe and the efficacy is there. So the objective, the outcomes are there, the research is there to support it. But I read an interesting fact about oxidative stress recently, and it claimed that just after a few minutes of intense exercise, oxidative stress has been shown to cause severe DNA damage. That's pretty incredible. And it gives us a lot to discuss here, especially with the protective, reparative, and restorative properties that we know Juice Plus has been shown to provide in our studies. One of the first things I do with patients and clients is just to get to know them. So just get their history, find out where they are in the process of life and fitness, and then begin formulating some didactic information as they paint that picture for me. So after hearing about them, I begin the education process. So I usually start with like a metaphor. So you may laugh because I heard, I think it was, who mentioned, I think it was, somebody mentioned a Ferrari before, but I was just kind of laughing because I have that in here too. So yeah, I did, it's Jake, I think I stole some of her stuff. But I talk about metaphors and kind of what happens in the body. So I use the metaphor as like thinking of like your body, like a car. So your muscles are like your engine. So have you ever been late to like pick up your boo and you're like stomping on the gas pedal? And well, the more that you demand from your engine, what happens? The more that the engine roars and kicks in and produces more exhaust, produces more oxidative stress in the body. So the metaphor that I use is the engine in the body. So the same thing happens in our bodies. So in our cells and our muscles, at the microscopic level, there are trillions of tiny micro explosions occurring all the time. This is a controlled situation, right? Similar to the sun's fusion. We don't really understand the process fully. There's a lot that we're still understanding about it. So this really is somewhat of a new science. But sometimes as we push ourselves hard enough, we can feel some of those reactions even happening as the muscles begin to burn, right? As we're pushing harder, we feel that lactic acid. This is a completely normal response to exercise, guys. These reactions are what signal our body's own natural antioxidant system to engage and begin to reduce the reactive, they call it reactive oxidative species. So if you see it in the study, you might see it abbreviated as ROS. So our body's natural antioxidant system, and this is something that you would, if you were to get a test for oxidative stress, would be something like superoxide dismutase or glutathione. So these are the body's two main powerful antioxidants that it would use to reduce that oxidative damage. But here's the problem, and this is what I like to stress for them. It's all about balance. Isn't everything all about balance? So when our systems are exposed to oxidative stressors at large volumes or for extended periods of time, with that lack of systemic balance, that's when the problems begin to arise. So then I start to bring in the reason why. And they'll say, yeah, but what's the big deal if our bodies can handle it? Well, here's the problem. Studies show that our food is becoming more toxic, and a lot of our JP people out there know some of this. So just use this tool and pull this out of your toolbox if you're going to converse with somebody, to try to give them the reason why. So the toxins are going up, right, in our food. So that's a stressor. You have chemical stressors now. You're introducing that now on top of already the physical stress. And then you have the food, the nutritional decay of the nutrient decay in our food, which is going down. So now you don't have the phytonutrients and the antioxidants to help buffer, because they are limited now, or they are reduced, or they are decaying, right? So then I give them the solution. So the phytonutrients and antioxidants from plants are some of the most important and powerful compounds that we have to reduce oxidation. And Juice Plus does that. And it's even been shown in the studies. So sometimes I'll give them the COBRA study, any of our inflammatory studies, and I also love the cardiovascular study. So what I love to do is, the way that I get people to, especially like if I have, like, let's say a rep or somebody who's not sure how to introduce Juice Plus, I do what's called reverse engineering the process. So I learn about them first, and if I hear them say like itis, so that we know itis is inflammation, so then I just reverse engineer and say, ooh, they have inflammation. I'm going to talk to them about this, and then send them a study on that, or talk to them about that. If they're into working out, then I talk to them about oxidative stress, right? So that's when I would pull out those tools out of my toolbox, and I would start to talk to them about oxidative stress or inflammation, or any of the other plethora of things that we can talk about, the microbiome, if it's depression or fibromyalgia or all these other things. But what I also like to do on the other end is educate. So let me talk about some few things real quick that seems to solidify things for people. So we know, in other words, oxidative stress, it just destroys things. It breaks them down. So if you think of it like rust on the metal, on like a metal object, right? That's oxidation. But we don't want this to happen in our bodies and in our cells, especially in our muscles. And in 2015, Singapore, they had a study out that I think they were correlating findings of muscular dystrophy and the body's inability to self-regulate oxidative stress. So this brings up a whole new topic, and I want to talk about this really quickly, because muscular dystrophy is basically the chronic disease of you breaking muscle down just forever. I mean, there's really no cure for it. So we can kind of extrapolate the importance of the reactive oxygen species, and talking about what we talked about before, the damage that can be done, and then talking about muscular dystrophy, right? But that's an extreme form, and they're finding that this may be a real thing. So we're talking about muscle loss here, right? So we're talking about, we have bone, muscle, fat, right? So when we're talking about what we're going to do in the gym or improve performance, we're not going to improve fat performance, right? So the thing that we can control the most are the muscles, which are the engine of the body, right? So it's what moves us. So like, do you want a V4 cylinder engine, right? Or you want a moped, a 1-cylinder? Or do you want, like Jake said, do you want a Ferrari? Yeah, I think we want the Ferrari, right? We want the 12-cylinder engine. We want to burn more fuel. So I know there are a few people out there, usually women, no offense, but I don't want them to think that they're going to get big and bulky, or they have to have massive muscles. But trust me, that will be the least of your concerns if that does happen, because we'll make billions of dollars. Just tell me what you ate the day before, and we'll go and patent that. But your muscle size is basically controlled by myostatin inhibitors. So that will not allow your muscles to go beyond a certain size. And that's limited by genetics. So yeah, you can change these variables with illegal drugs and stuff, but that's not the point. My point is, what I'm trying to say to you is this. We're trying to preserve muscle. So we want to preserve muscle on the front end, so that when we go exercise, we're attenuating the oxidative stress, so we don't go breaking down the muscle, right? And then we take the Juice Plus, so it protects. And then as we're working out, it restores. And then afterwards, it repairs, right? So that's the process. And it will help expedite that process, right? So what we're doing on the front end by reducing oxidative stress, when we put that effort forth, is we are attenuating oxidative stress to reduce the damage. So we're not taking that V12 that we have and breaking it down into a V10, a V8, V6. Right? And then we protect, repair, restore. So that's how I want you to think of it, like that, because every time you exercise, if you don't have that attenuation of oxygen species and it's out of control, right, because of the reasons that we kind of talked about before, then you're not necessarily going to be as effective losing weight, right? You think, what's going to burn more calories? We just said it, right? A V12. You want to lose weight? You better gain some muscle. That's what burns the calories, not the fat. I'm sorry. So you're going to have more torque. You're going to have more power. You're going to have more speed. You're going to be leaner. I don't see any way that this can be a mismatch. I don't see any way that there's a limiting factor here or something that's a negative. It's just all upside. So that's how I like to explain it to them. And I hope I did an okay job of doing that. I know we're limited on time, but I wanted to bring some other things into the picture. But if anybody has any more specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm more than happy to help you.
Awesome. It's always great to have a doctor of physical therapy come in and, you know, wrap this up with the science side of it. That's what was compelling to me 17 years ago when I was introduced to Juice Plus. It was about showing me the science, the third-party independent research that proves that when we take these capsules and these shakes, that it goes into our body, it affects the immune system, it affects our, like you said, Rocco, muscles. I see the most beautiful women and men in Juice Plus with the most defined muscles and stuff across the board, because it does. It leans us out and it brings out these tremendous muscles. And sometimes for vegan bodybuilders, they get muscles that the whey protein bodybuilders can't get because of the inflammation. So I'm really glad you brought that up. Guys, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Again, this was recorded, so you can feel free to share this with a friend or family member, or even with your children. I even think that the children need to hear this. A lot of times, I know my daughter needed to hear it from a third party, not from mom telling her to eat more fruits and vegetables. And I'm happy to say 17 years later, she's only had one antibiotic in her life. Because she's healthy and strong as a 21-year-old. So again, thank you guys for joining us. May you have a rad rest of the night, and we'll see you again on next week's call. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Bye.